All set, James?
All set, sir.
Thank you very much, James. I want to welcome everybody to the Town Planning and Zoning Commission meeting for September 23rd, 2020. And if everybody could rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. If we could, Craig, if you could do the roll call.
Yes.
Thank you.
Commissioner Claffey? Commissioner Fox?
Here.
Commissioner Havens? Commissioner Linares?
Here.
Commissioner Sobieski?
Here.
Commissioner Woods?
Here.
Commissioner Gill?
Here.
Commissioner Haggerty?
Here.
Commissioner Braverman? And Chairman Payne?
Here.
Okay, all right, Chairman Payne, Commissioners Claffey and Havens did not say here, but we have two alternates, Gill and Haggerty, to here tonight. You might want to seat them.
Okay, you're sure they're not on, right? Okay, we'll Claffey and Commissioner Havens will sit. We're going to sit Commissioner Haggerty for Commissioner Havens. And did you say we have another Thomas Gill? Commissioner
Yes.
Gill
Mm-hmm.
will sit for Commissioner Claffey.
Good.
Okay, thank you very much. We have the approval of the agenda, and I believe we're going to add something, an 8-24 referral for the proposed sale of former National Welding property. Would that fall under new business as C?
Okay, Mr. Chairman, that was already added to the amended agenda that was distributed on Monday. So not on the agenda that was mailed to you or that you received in hand, but it has already been added under new business item. New business item B. Petition 33-20, section 8-24, referral of proposed sale of former National Welding property at 690 Cedar Street. So that's already on the amended agenda. But I do have one deletion, Mr. Chairman. The public hearing for the zone change petition number 30-20, the zone change on Willard Avenue. The applicants did not post the signs in a timely manner. And so I discussed it with their attorney the other day, and he agreed that it should be postponed to the following meeting.
Okay, so
take item,
postpone 30-20 till the next meeting.
Correct, and that was public hearing item B. Yep.
Okay, very good. We'll go right into public participation. If there's anybody from the public, please raise your hand or call in. If there's anybody from the public that has a question. Okay, let's go into our zoning enforcement officer report. Andrew is with us, I believe.
Good evening, everyone. It's Andrew. We're reviewing the August 2020 zoning officer report tonight. Is there any questions on that?
Any commissioners have any questions? Andrew, it didn't seem like there was a lot in August. Is there any special reason for that?
Not particularly, no.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, if there's no questions from the commissioners, I want to thank you, Andrew.
Thank you, Chairman.
And we're going to move on to remarks by commissioners. If any commissioners have any remarks. All right. Any No remarks from any commissioners? Okay, we're going to go into approval of minutes. Entertain a motion for approval of the minutes of August 26th and September 9th, regular meetings.
So moved by Fox.
Motion made by Commissioner Fox and seconded by Commissioner Sobieski. Any corrections or comments on it? If there's no corrections, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? All right, motion carries to approve the minutes of August 26th and September 9th as printed. I'll have Craig, if you could read the procedures for a public hearing, I'd appreciate it.
Procedures for public hearings. The order of proceedings at public hearings shall be as follows. A, convening by chairman. B, reading of the notice by the commission secretary or a commissioner designated by the chairman to act in his stead. C, identification and location of the property involved by the town planner. D, a statement of the issue to be considered by the chairman or the town planner. E, presentation by applicant limited to 20 minutes unless a specific extension is granted by the chair. F, persons wishing to speak in favor of the application limited to 2 minutes per person. G, persons wishing to speak in opposition to the application limited to 3 minutes per person. H, rebuttal by the applicant limited to 5 minutes total. I, rebuttal by the opposition limited to 5 minutes total. During a public hearing, it shall be within the discretion of the chairman whether the time limitations should be varied slightly, provided the commission consents to any such variance. In no case shall an extension be for more than 20% of the allotment indicated above, or 1 minute, whichever is greater.
Okay, thank you very much, Craig. Our first petition is petition 29-20. If Commissioner Lenars could read that petition, I'd appreciate it.
Sure. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Petition 29-20, special permit, section 6.2.5 for freestanding sign at 395 Willard Avenue. Colchester Properties LLC owner, Signlight Inc. Applicant Mark DeTulio, 6 Corporate Drive, North Haven, Connecticut. Contact.
Thank you, Commissioner Lenars. Is the applicant available? This is for a new sign over at the Learning Center on Willard Avenue. Is the applicant?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I saw his name as someone that's in the room, Mr. DiTullio.
I have sent a request to unmute. It hasn't been responded to yet.
Okay. Do you want to start off, Craig, with a small report on it? Thank
Yes.
you.
Yes, gentlemen of the commission, this is a conventional freestanding sign under the Newington zoning regulations. Freestanding signs require a special permit from TPC, which then requires a public hearing. This is for that new commercial daycare building that was approved by TPC a number of months ago. That's under construction. I'm sure you've all seen it on Willard Avenue. And so now the operators of the daycare would like permission to put up a pedestal sign at the entrance to the new building.
Very reasonable request. Is the applicant available to speak now?
Still not showing. I'll attempt again.
Craig, the location has been checked and everything?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, and the size of the sign is within the requirements.
Okay.
Okay, this is Mark from Signlight that just got on.
Hi, Mark.
Hi, sorry I'm late. I tried to get on with my computer. I'm on my phone now. I was having trouble at home on my home PC. Sorry about
Okay,
that.
no problem. If you could explain a little bit about what you're doing, and then we'll go to the public.
Sure. What we're looking to do here at 395 Willard Avenue is a freestanding, non-illuminated sign. The sign structure is a masonry, concrete, actually cinder block based with a concrete and finished brick face on it. The upper portion, which is the sign band, is kind of a drive-it type of stucco finish, very similar to the building facade material. And we're proposing non-illuminated 3/8 inch thick acrylic letter forms that are of the design that you see here. They're stud mounted flush to the sign band area of this freestanding stone base. And that's the type of sign that the Learning Center has at many of their other locations throughout Connecticut and pretty much the United States. But that's the freestanding sign type that they're looking to get at this location.
Okay, so is it both a monument signage and a freestanding too? Or
No, it's only one sign. The monument,
It's only
I've been
one
calling it a
sign.
monument.
okay,
That's
Okay.
correct. That's correct.
Okay.
Going by two different names, but yeah, it's just one sign.
okay, very good. I've noticed the base, and it's very nice that it all matches the building. So I think that's going to be a real plus there. Is there anything else you'd like to say?
No, that's about it. The masonry work, it's done by others. I'm the contractor installing the sign for A&F Sign Company that's out of
I understand.
Delaware. So
Yep.
they hired us to get the permits and install the signs. But no, it's really cut and dry. That's what they're looking to get at this location.
Okay, Mark, I understand. Is there any questions for the applicant by any of the commissioners?
Ed?
All right. Yes, Commissioner Gill.
Is there any possibility of getting addresses affixed to this signage?
Yes, absolutely. It can go in the brick area down below the sign itself. They can put the 395 numbers down below that. As a matter of fact, that's been done at other locations. We just did one in Trumbull. There's another one that we did in Glastonbury, and it has the address down below. So yeah, that could certainly be done very easily.
Okay.
Any other questions from the commissioners? Okay, hearing nothing else, I'll open it up to the public. Anybody wishing to speak in favor of this application? Is there anybody that would like to speak against it? Okay. If the commissioners don't have a problem, I think that we should close this petition and move it to old business for action for tonight.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Okay,
OBS.
motion made by Commissioner Woods and seconded by Commissioner Sobieski. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. So we'll be moving this, Mark, over to old business and taking care of it tonight for you.
Okay. Thank you very much, guys. I appreciate that.
Thank you, Mark.
Take care. Good night.
Okay, the next petition is petition, I'm sorry. Next one is postponed. And so we're going to go right over to new business. Petition 31-20. If before I go on, I see Commissioner Havens is on now. So if we could make a note in the minutes that permanent member Commissioner Havens is on and will sit permanently now, and Commissioner Gill will be the alternate moving forward on the meeting. And if I could have Commissioner Havens read petition 31-20 in new business, please.
Petition 31-20, site plan modification at 100 Milk Lane, Saputo Dairy Foods USA LLC applicant, Catamount Newington LLC owner, Scott Manlove, 100 Milk Lane, Newington, Connecticut contact. And I don't have anything else on my screen. I'm on my iPhone right now.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Commissioner. Is the applicant available?
Yes,
Hi, Scott. If you could tell us a little bit about this, it looks like you're putting in some new equipment.
yes, that is correct. So we're going to be installing a new production line at the facility. And part of those activities, we need to make some changes to our current milk receiving area. And then we're going to be putting in some additional walls to create some new rooms, clean rooms for this new production.
And do any of the commissioners have any questions? Craig, would you like to give us a little report on this?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. Yes, I reviewed the plans, and as you saw, because you all got a copy of the plans in your packet, it's these are additions to the back of the existing building, so there's no impact on the existing impervious. It's not going to have any impact on traffic through the site. I gave a copy of the plans to the town engineer last week. He hadn't had a chance to review it thoroughly, but as I said, there's no new impervious, so there's no impact on runoff, which is the usual issue that the town engineer is usually concerned about. So I don't see any reason not to proceed with this application.
Thank you very much, Craig. Any commissioners have any questions? I think this is very small modifications to the site plan for their business, and there should be no reason why we can't move this forward. I would suggest that we close this and move it to old business for action for tonight.
So moved.
Okay, we have Commissioner Fox that's making that motion. And do I have a second?
Second by Sobieski.
Okay, seconded by Commissioner Sobieski. Any questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? I didn't hear everybody. Is everybody?
Aye.
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 Thank you very much. Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. We'll take this up in old business. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, the next thing on our agenda is review of our commercial vehicles in the residential zones regulations, section 3.22.1.
Mr. Chairman, no, we have the 8-24. That was next.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Yep.
So we have the 8-24 next. See if I can.
It's
So
on
we
the
have
screen, Mr. Chairman.
petition 33-20, which is a 8-20 for referral of the proposed sale of former National Welding property at 690 Cedar Street, Newington, Town Council owner applicant. Go ahead, Craig, if you want to start it off.
Yes. As everybody knows, this is the property that the town has owned for a number of years. The town demolished the old building a while ago, substantially remediated the site, took care of a lot of contaminated soil, and has been looking for a buyer for quite a while and has found an appropriate buyer. He's a developer out of state. And what he's proposing to do is build a market rate apartment building of mostly studio and one-bedroom apartments. I think there'll be a couple of twos, but mostly studios and ones, which is certainly something that this town needs. It will be right next to the CT Fast Track station. So probably most of the people living in this apartment building will be people who will take advantage of CT Transit to get to work in Hartford, New Britain, or points in between. I prepared a draft motion to approve, which indicated a number of ways how this proposal complies with the new plan of development. And so, Mr. Town Clerk, if you could scroll down to actually, if you could go, I know it's under old business. I'm sorry I told you to put it there, but if you could flip to the draft motion to approve. Yes, there are three specific aspects of the plan of development that I found which relate to this sale. The first one is that the sale of 690 Cedar Street is a land use strategy stated on page 50 of the new plan of development, as in it will continue to promote appropriate development of the National Welding site now owned by the town. The second finding that I recommend the commission reach is that the proposed use of the property is market rate apartments, primarily studio and one-bedroom units. This is in accordance with the above land use strategy and will promote the following residential development goal indicated on page 59 of the new POCD. Provide housing options for a variety of household types, sizes, ages, tenures, and income groups within safe and stable neighborhoods. And the third point that I would like to make, finding that I would like the commission to reach, is that the proposed use is consistent with the, quote, overall housing diversification, end quote, statement on page 64 of the new POCD. Namely, areas in Newington which may be best located to assimilate housing options within the community may include areas which are walkable to transit stations, including the Cedar Street Fast Track Station. Mr. Chairman, I believe the town manager is present. If the commissioners have any questions for him of the developer.
Okay, thank you, Craig, very much. I think that you did a very good job on this draft motion, and you know, it's been a long time that this National Welding property has been sitting there, and I think this is definitely an asset for us to move this forward for an 8-24. And I'll open it up for questions from the commissioners. Does anybody have any questions from the commissioners?
Not a question, just a statement, Mr. Chairman.
Certainly, Commissioner Woods.
Again, I applaud the town manager as well as the council for moving this forward. This has been a long time coming. It was a big leap for the town to take on this property, probably close to 10 years ago now. And it's finally we're gonna turn it back into, I believe, if I remember correctly, it was in one of the top 10 taxpayers for a long, long time when it was National Welding. So at least it will be back on the tax rolls. I'm very happy to see this. And I'm very happy to see that we are finally getting some housing along the busway. I think that's just a wonderful thing.
I agree with you, Commissioner Woods. Thank you for your comments. Any other comments from the commissioners or questions? Okay, hearing none, I don't see any problems why we should be able to move this to old business for action for tonight.
So moved.
Okay, Commissioner Fox is making that motion and Commissioner Sobieski seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries to move this to old business. Thank you very much. And now I believe, Craig, we're on the commercial vehicles. So we have a review of commercial vehicles in the residential zones, regulations, section 3.22.1C, and use of residents for business, personal businesses and home occupations and professional office regulations, section 3.3.3 and section 3.4.4. I'll have Craig start us off with a report on this, where we stand on this work.
Yes, Mr. Chairman. For the audience who haven't been with us the past couple of meetings, this is an issue that the TPC has been working on for the past couple of meetings. The current commercial vehicle regulation is quite wordy and confusing, and so the commission is trying to streamline it, improve it, but still preserve the ability for folks to have a commercial vehicle at home without impacting the residential character of the neighborhood. So as I said in my memo, I made the following changes to the draft per the comments made by the commissioners at the September 9th meeting. A, I deleted references to maximum weight and maximum cargo area. I deleted reference to a backup alarm, and I deleted the prohibition on dump trucks and wreckers. However, I recommend these vehicles continue to be prohibited by right, but allowable by special permit. In a dense R7 or RP neighborhood, a driveway can be pretty close to a neighbor's house. Residents should be given the opportunity to raise valid objections. And I didn't do anything to the home business regulation because we haven't really talked about that yet.
Yeah, on the home business regulations, I think we're all in agreement that we're going to leave that alone. And we can go through the commissioners now. I mean, we had no comments on it last meeting, and I think everybody was satisfied with what we have there. I'll open it up to the commissioners and ask them about the home business regulation.
I'm fine with the home business regulation, Mr. Chairman, as it's
Thank you.
written.
Thank you, Commissioner Woods. Is everybody else all right with the home business regulation?
Yeah.
Okay. Very good. I like the changes that you made, Commissioner, Craig, on the commercial vehicles. I think that's exactly what everybody talked about at the last meeting. And is there anything else the commissioners would like to change or discuss on the commercial regulations? And then one other thing, Craig, does this have to go to CROG?
Yes,
Okay, it has to be scheduled to go to CROG before we have a public hearing on it, correct?
correct.
How long will that take?
Your next meeting, 2 meetings from now, which would be October 21.
Okay. Commissioner Haggerty, would you like the floor?
I just have a question. I see that the vehicles with backup alarms are be deemed a commercial vehicle that's being taken out. And I kind of thought, like, the pulse of the conversation a couple weeks ago was that, these are kind of a nuance or excuse me, a nuisance, especially late at night or earlier in the morning. I didn't know what anybody else's thoughts on that were.
I think the reason we took it out was because, I could be mistaken, but I think the reason we took it out was because there's even small vans with backup alarms and other vehicles that aren't really commercial vehicles. So what it was they said any vehicle outfitted with a backup alarm was a commercial vehicle. And I don't know if that's really necessarily the case. So that's the only reason why we took that reference out of the backup alarm.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. Am I correct on that? Other commissioners, how did you?
No, you're correct, Dominic, Mr. Chairman.
Okay.
I have a couple, actually, Mike Fox had his hand up first. Then I like to go after Mike.
Certainly. Commissioner Fox.
Thank you, Commissioner. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yeah, and I think by making that, requiring a special permit to have the vehicles that most likely have a backup alarm kind of, takes care of that a bit, So, if you had by right, then, it would be a little different. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Commissioner Fox. That's a great point that it gives us one bite of the apple one more time if they come in, and then it gives the opportunity of the neighbors to at least respond to it. Commissioner Woods.
Yeah, I have an issue with the dump trucks. And again, this is not self-serving because while I do own a landscape business, I do not take a truck home. But I think I understand where
Did he have that in or out, Commissioner Woods?
He has it. Well, now a dump truck requires
special exception.
Special exception. I think that's a problem because I think what you're trying to do is let these little businesses keep a truck in their driveway. Most little businesses are landscape companies, and what do they own? A dump truck. My suggestion, I've got two. One, go back to a weight. If it's over 18,000 pounds, then special exception. And the backup alarms, if we have a commercial vehicle in a residential zone, it needs to have a white noise backup alarm. Nowhere near as offensive. They're required now on most job sites, and they do the job, but yet they don't go through your eardrum like the.
Is it possible to have the trucks can be modified with that, correct?
It's a $50 bill, Mr. Chairman. It's cheap. We have to do it to all ours now.
Okay. Okay.
Any other? Not a big expense. Most of the newer trucks are coming with it now.
Okay. Thank you, Commissioner Woods. Commissioner Haggerty, do you have a question?
Yeah, Commissioner Woods, what is the magic number with that weight, 18,000 pounds?
The average landscape dump truck right now is 18,000. So it's going to be more like a big six-wheeler that has that holds 10 yards of material, or a triaxle. That way, I believe that should be permitted. I don't think you should park a triaxle, or a tractor trailer in your yard without coming to us. But the small dump trucks, I think that's what we were trying to do here. Small dump trucks, small pickups,
Mhm.
a lot of individuals that have businesses that don't warrant any sort of a commercial building for rent. They keep everything either in their garage or right in their truck or an enclosed trailer. I thought that's what we were trying to do.
Yeah, and if they can't have a second vehicle unless they come in to us.
Correct. So you're
So-
stopping, many, multiple vehicles.
Mhm.
I just think you're going to get inundated with complaints if you strike out dump trucks.
Well, yeah, and the whole purpose of this was to try to clean it up for enforcement.
Yeah.
And any other commissioners have any comments? I agree with Commissioner Woods. I don't have a problem with a small dump truck. If it becomes more than one truck, then they have to come in for special exception.
Commissioner Sobieski does.
Okay, Commissioner Sobieski, go right ahead.
Yeah, Commissioner Woods, I got a question. On the light backup that you're referring to, is there any way that, I know OSHA is requiring it in some areas now, but I was wondering if that could be something that could be put into this regulation? I'm just asking a question. I don't know.
Well, I'm not quite sure what the question is, Mr.
Well, the question is that instead of a backup alarm,
Yeah.
could we put the light in instead? That's all I'm asking.
No,
That way they would make it.
I think that would be against,
OSHA mandates a backup alarm.
yes. You gotta, and you can't even.
I realize they mandate require the backup alarm. I was just wondering if we could use this in certain areas with just in a residential zone where these vehicles are. That's all I was looking at.
I think Commissioner Woods is getting at is requiring them to, if they're going to have a truck in a residential zone, require them to have the backup alarm that's white noise. Is that correct, Commissioner Woods?
Correct.
And what that will do is it still provides the safety of the backup alarm, but it's not as piercing of a noise for the residential area. So I agree with those changes of Commissioner Woods. I'd like to hear from any other commissioners so that we could get this corrected, and maybe we can have the planner send this to CROG so we could get this moving along for a public hearing. Craig, what do you think about those changes there?
Yes, just one clarification. So Commissioner Woods, paragraph C1 should then read, one commercial vehicle not exceeding 18,000 pounds gross vehicle weight?
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
And again, Mr. Chairman, I just want to stress, this is not self-serving. I mean, it's clear, everyone knows I own a landscape business.
Well,
If anything, it's actually doing just the opposite. What I'm trying to do is make it a little bit easier for people who are smaller to earn a living. So I don't benefit by this at all.
no, I understand Commissioner Woods, and there's a lot of small, young people that are out there that are just starting business and they have one truck. I remember when I first started, I had one truck. I brought the truck home and that was it until the business prospered. So I understand completely, and it's a working town, and I think that this commercial regulations for vehicles is an improvement of what we had, and I think it'll be easier for zoning enforcement and moving forward.
Again, Mr. Chairman, I think this is another step that you're taking, leading us down the path where we're sending out a clear message that we're open for business and we want people in Newington to do business here. And I applaud you for that.
Thank you, Commissioner Woods. Any other questions from commissioners?
Chairman,
Commissioner Gill.
as far as the number of commercial vehicles, there are some, well, my instance here is I work for Eversource, and we're required now with the pandemic to bring our vehicles home. So there's a possibility of, maybe writing something in regards to won't stay this way, but during this pandemic, I need to have a second commercial vehicle on the property.
Okay, completely understand. And that would be similar to, other utilities that may ask their employees to take their vehicles home, similar to Connecticut Natural Gas or MDC or possibly people like H.O. Penn and wrecking companies. Craig, do you think we need to change something to do that, or how do you?
No, because we've always allowed, or at least since these regs were adopted, allowed a homeowner to have a second commercial vehicle. They just need to come and ask TPZ for a special permit. And
Okay.
we process those usually within two to 4 weeks at the longest. So that shouldn't be a problem. And in the meantime, the homeowner would be allowed to keep it pending approval by TPZ.
Okay, Craig. Does that answer your questions, Commissioner Gill?
Yes. Yep. That sounds fine.
Okay, thank you. All right, if there's no other questions, we'll move on to the next thing. Okay, so Craig, you're Commissioner Lenars, do you have anything?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, are we gonna move this now just back to us after it get rewritten, or is it gonna go now to CROG? Or is it gonna come back one more time?
What I'd like to do, Commissioner Woods, is make the changes that I heard tonight, send a copy of it to the chairman for him to take a look at before I send it on to CROG to make sure that I captured all the changes that the commission was asking for, if that's acceptable.
Okay, thank you. I'm fine with that.
Okay. Why don't we send it to, when you send it to me, Craig, why don't you just send it to everybody? And then that way, if somebody has a problem, they can also check in with you, and then we'll get it off to CROG.
Okay.
Okay? That way, all the commissioners have a chance to look at it, just in case. I don't want to miss something. Thank you, Craig. Okay, we're going to go to old business now. And first thing on there is performance bonds.
Yes. Okay. So I've made some progress since our last meeting. Mr. Krupinski, if you could flip down to the spreadsheet. Thank you. All right, I'll start at the top. These 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 items all under 1978. I asked the finance department if they had any more information as to who posted these bonds, and unfortunately, no, they don't. So, and the Foxborough one, that's $12,000. That's a lot of money. So, I'm not sure what to suggest we do with these.
Okay.
Other than let them become part of the general fund.
Okay, you can proceed.
All right. Now, the next one, Zag Machine, $4,200. The owner of Zag Machine passed away last November. So I spoke to the town attorney about this, and he suggested that the money be sent to his widow. And I have located her, but I want to make sure I have the right address. And once I'm sure I have the right address, we'll send the check to her. This 178 Richard Street, that's another one I asked the finance department if they know anything about, because I don't have any more information. I couldn't find anything in either the building department file for 178 or the P&Z files. It's only $320, but I'll continue trying to find the rightful owner of that. And the other 3 items, the Boiler Development, the Jefferson Court, and Mills Construction, we've already started the release process. I've asked the finance department to send them those checks to all those people.
Okay. And what about the one on the bottom?
Oh yeah, Moretco. I'm still trying to figure out what that one is.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if we can't find that one, and we had the 178 Richard, if we don't find that, and then we have all the ones at the top. I think we can get the total of those, and then if you exhaust all your your efforts in trying to find a rightful owner, then by the next meeting, then I think we should just send this back to the general fund. You've done everything that you could to, to try to return this. Is any commissioners have any questions concerning all these items that Craig has talked about?
Yeah. Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Commissioner Woods.
could we get an opinion from the town attorney to see about Foxborough and Horizon Hills, so they could be turned over, those funds could be turned over to the association?
Okay,
See
we
what he
can
thinks.
certainly, Commissioner Woods. I'll have Craig, if you could contact the town attorney and ask him that, please.
Yes.
Thank you. We've in a very short period of time, Craig, we've gone through all these performance bonds, and I want to thank you very much for doing that. It's nice to get these things finally cleaned up. Is there any other questions from commissioners?
One, Mr. Chairman. So am I to assume everything that's off the list now is in the process of being paid? Craig?
That's correct.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
just a note to Craig. Craig, I might want to have you stop down in my office. I just looked at something and I've actually got some old releases here showing for some. This one goes back to Hampton Court from 1976. So I might have some information that might be beneficial to you.
Okay. That's great. Thank you, James.
You're welcome.
Okay, the next thing on the agenda is the town planner's report.
Mr. Chairman, we have those two old business items, the
Okay.
monument sign and the
Oh,
8-24.
Yep. Okay, I'm sorry.
Oh, and
Um,
the site plan.
Okay, so we have the old business. We have three motions, draft motions. If I could have Commissioner Havens read petition. Who has the draft motions? Everybody have the draft motions?
I sent them by email earlier this afternoon. Oh, and James has them. Great.
Okay, so they're up. If I could have Commissioner Havens read petition 29-20, please.
Petition 29-20, special permit, section 6.2.5 for freestanding sign at 395 Willard Ave, Colchester Properties LLC owner, Sign Light Inc. applicant, Mark DiTullio, 6 Corporate Drive, North Haven, Connecticut, contact. I move to approve petition 29-20, special permit, section 6.2.5 for freestanding sign at 395 Willard Ave, Colchester Properties LLC owner, Sign Light Inc. applicant, Mark DiTullio, 6 Corporate Drive, North Haven, Connecticut, contact.
Second, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, a motion made by Commissioner Havens and seconded by Commissioner Woods. Any corrections or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries for petition 29-20. The next petition is 31-20. If I could have Commissioner Sobieski read the next petition, 31-20, please.
Yes, petition 31-20, site plan modification, 100 Milk Lane, Saputo Dairy Foods USA LLC applicant, Claremont Newington LLC owner, Scott Manlow, 100 Milk Lane, Newington, Connecticut, contact. I move to approve petition 31-20, site plan modification, 100 Milk Lane, Saputo Dairy Foods USA LLC applicant, Claremont Newington LLC owner, Scott Manlow, 100 Milk Lane, Newington, Connecticut, conditions none.
Thank you, Commissioner Sobieski. Do I have a second? Is that a second from Commissioner Lenars. Thank you, Commissioner. So we have the motion made and seconded. Is there any questions or comments on this petition? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously for petition 31-20. The next petition is 33-20. If I could have Commissioner Woods read the 8-24, I'd appreciate it.
Petition 33-20, section 8-24, referral of proposed sale of former National Welding property at 690 Cedar Street, Newington Town Council, owner applicant. I move to approve petition 33-20, section 8-24, referral of proposed sale of former National Welding property at 690 Cedar Street, Newington Town Council, owner applicant. Findings: 1, the sale of 690 Cedar Street is a land use strategy stated on page 50 of the new POCD adopted on August 29th, 2020. And I got to move my screen here. 1, continue to promote appropriate development of the National Welding site now owned by the town. 2, the proposed use of the property is market rate apartments, primarily studio and 1-bedroom apartments. This is in accordance with the above land use strategy and will promote the following residential development goal indicated on page 59 of the new POCD. Providing housing options for a variety of household types, sizes, ages, tenures, and income groups within safe and stable neighborhoods. 3, the proposed use is consistent with the overall housing diversification statement on page 64 of the new POCD. Areas in Newington, which may be located to assimilate housing options within the community, may include areas which are walkable to transit stations, including the Cedar Street Fast Track Station.
Thank you, Commissioner Woods. We have a motion on the table. Do I have a second?
Commissioner
Second.
Sobieski, second.
Seconded by Commissioner Sobieski. Do we have any questions or comments on this? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries unanimously. Thank you very much, commissioners. And now we'll proceed to the town planner's report.
There's 2 items. In fact, I'll do the second one first. The new POCD has been printed. They're waiting for me to pick them up at Image Inc. And what I'll do is I'll deliver them to everybody with their next agenda packet, unless somebody really wants it sooner than that, in which case I'll deliver it sooner. But otherwise, I'll bring them around on October 14th. Okay, the first item in my report is a fee in lieu of sidewalk idea. This is something that actually I've been thinking about for quite a while, but it came up as a topic at the Public Works team meeting a few weeks ago. This is a concept where if for whatever good reason, making a developer build a sidewalk that the regulations require, but in his situation, it doesn't make sense because it would be either a sidewalk to nowhere or for some other good reason, rather than let him off the hook completely, he would deposit money into an account that would be reserved for, at some time in the future, the town to build sidewalks. A lot of towns do this. And so I'm just throwing it out there for the commission's consideration.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea, Craig. I don't know whether or not it's, it's a proportion of whatever work they were going to do. I'll open it up to commissioners, how they feel about it. Any other commissioners like to talk about this?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I agree. I think it's an excellent idea, and I applaud the town planner for trying to move this forward, because it does not make some sense sometimes, and we seem to lag terribly behind in repairing our sidewalks as a community, and maybe this will help that move forward a little quicker.
Yep. Thank you, Commissioner Woods. Yeah, I think this would help.
Yeah, but I would also I like to applaud the planner for this forward thinking. I really hope that we can use some of this money to repair some of our deteriorating sidewalks.
Thank you, Commissioner. Any other comments?
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, Commissioner Fox.
Yeah, I would definitely like to take a look at it. I mean, we have, I don't know if I can do this, but, we do have one sidewalk issue that actually came up at the council. I'll talk about that under Commissioner's remarks. But Commissioner Woods is absolutely correct. And Craig is absolutely correct. It gets confusing, and we should straighten it out. I thank Craig for his diligence.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Fox. Anybody else?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, Commissioner Lenars.
I think it's pretty innovative, this type of program to put it in something like this. I think I'm in the minority because I don't really love it. But I understand it and I appreciate everybody else's opinions. I just feel that if the sidewalk is not valid to be put in a particular area, then it shouldn't be up to the construction end of the deal to have someone contribute to sidewalks that need to be fixed anyways. It's not a big deal. It seems like a lot of the commissioners like it versus not like it, but just my 2 cents.
And thank you, Commissioner Lenars. And I don't know whether or not it would be whatever we want to set up. It wouldn't necessarily be if 100% of the work that they have to do. Is that correct, Craig? Where we could set the value at or the proportion any way we want?
You could certainly set it at less than the full value of the sidewalk. Cromwell had a similar rule, and in Cromwell would require the full value of the sidewalk, but that's at your discretion. But to get to Commissioner Lenars' point, something that you could do, if you wanted to, is set it up such that this money could only be used for new sidewalks somewhere else. Now, that doesn't solve the problem that Commissioner Woods brought up about our sidewalks breaking and not getting fixed in a timely manner. But for the developer who is a little annoyed that he's having to pay money for a sidewalk that's not even in front of his property, he might feel a little better about it if he knew that his money was going to create a new sidewalk somewhere and not just underwrite an existing expense that the town should be dealing with in a more upfront manner in the first place.
Yeah.
We can talk about this down the road.
Yeah, I agree with you. I like the idea where the money is set aside for filling in the gaps of the sidewalks that we haven't filled in. Instead of the maintenance should be the town's responsibility, but there's a lot of gaps out there in the sidewalks. So that's a possibility. And I don't think that we should do it for full value. I think we should do it for a proportion of the value so that the developer still sees a savings possibly. Any other questions from the commissioners? Would you like to come up with something for our next meeting and propose it to us, Craig?
Yes.
Thank you very much. Is there anything else under your town planner's report?
No, sir, that's all I have.
Anything under communications?
I don't have anything.
Okay. And we'll go to public participation. If there's anybody in the public there that would like to have a question or a comment. And we'll go to remarks from commissioners. I'll open it up for the commissioners for remarks.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, Commissioner Fox, go ahead.
Thank you, sir. I heard at the council that they were discussing the Dakota sidewalk thing, and I believe the state had come to a resolution. And I'm not sure how the settlement was actually talked about, but it seems as if as safety officer for the town, the Keith Chapman had rejected the sidewalks. I think I saw Keith here. Can we talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, I could give you a short report on that if you'd like.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yep, I'm gathering my thoughts here.
Okay.
So the sidewalk, as you know, was asked that we could look into that. It's not part of the Dakota's requirement, and it's not a condition for Dakota at all to do. The courts didn't make them put the sidewalks in. All they asked them to do was look into it. So after having a meeting with Dakota and DOT, and I believe Craig was on the line, and so wasn't the town manager. Unfortunately, we weren't invited to earlier meetings, and we were invited to the later meeting after they had all the plans. And there was some issues that came up on the future of the sidewalks, the maintenance, and other issues. But the biggest issue was the following day, the town manager asked me to go down there and walk the area. And just walking that close to Cedar Street was extremely unsafe. And safety was his biggest concern. So he had checked with the bus routes, and he could have the bus pickup right there where we have the Dakota every 20 minutes. So he felt that it was in the best interest of the town not to do the sidewalk because of safety and some future maintenance and replacement issues. So I agreed with him. And he did have an idea of possibly going easterly to Dunkin' Donuts driveway just to get people over to the parking lot there where they could walk over. And there's a possibility that they're going to look at if in the back of Dakota's property, there might be a method where they could bring a sidewalk to Alumni Road in the back of the property. And so they're going to look at that too. But it was determined that it just wasn't safe to have that walkway going all the way down to the fast track. And I agreed with Keith for the reasons that he stated. I hope that, go ahead if you have any other questions.
No, good, finish, finish.
Yeah, I'm all set.
Oh, okay, so we're talking about a rear entrance, which was brought up during the public hearings and was turned down, but this is just going to be a pedestrian entrance.
It wouldn't be for vehicles in the rear. It would be for pedestrians only, if possible. They're going to explore the possibility of a sidewalk going out to Alumni Road in the rear. If that's impossible, then they're going to just possibly ask them to do the sidewalk to the Dunkin' Donuts driveway. And naturally, they still have to do the sidewalk in front of their place. That's a condition. So they have to do that. And then there's going to be, a bus coverway there. And Keith thought that it would be better serve that property to have the buses fast track come there every 20 minutes for pickup for anybody that has to get to the fast track. He felt that was a safer method to move the people. And I agreed with him.
Okay. I don't have any questions right now, but I'm going to think of,
Okay.
I'm going to be reviewing what we've said here and think about that for the next couple of weeks. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay.
Commissioner Fox, this will be on the agenda for TPC for the next meeting under probably new business, maybe old business, but this is an issue for the commission to make a decision on.
Okay,
It'll
thank
be
you.
on your agenda.
Thank you.
Is there anything you'd like to add, Craig, about that meeting and what took place, or?
I'll just follow up that I did talk to Dakota's attorney today about this, so I made him aware of what the town's concerns are, and that it'll be on the agenda for October 14th. I told him that if between now and then, he has any information he'd like to provide to help the commission make a decision, he'd be welcome to that, but that this will be something the commission will be discussing at its next meeting.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions from the other commissioners?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Commissioner Woods.
what are we going to be discussing? If it isn't a requirement of the development, I'm getting lost here. I don't know.
Yeah,
What we're
Okay, can I speak to that, Mr. Chairman?
Certainly.
In the judge's ruling, he did specifically say that the judge was not making it a condition of approval, but he agreed that Newington was right to be concerned about sidewalks, and he directed Dakota to work with DOT in good faith. That was the phrase the judge used, to provide Newington with a sidewalk. So it's up to Newington to decide whether it wants a sidewalk or not. more precisely, is up to the TPZ to decide whether it wants a sidewalk or not. Now, obviously, you're going to listen to the town manager because he's the guy that makes things work every day. But it's TPZ's decision whether to rescind that requirement or not. So that's what the commission needs to discuss and presumably agree at the end of the day, but it needs to be the commission's decision.
Thank you, Craig. Does that answer your questions, Commissioner Woods?
Is that because we made it a condition?
Yes.
And then okay, now it makes sense. All right, thank you.
Yeah, but the condition isn't upheld in court.
I know that's the part where I'm a little confused,
Yeah,
but
there is no conditions on it. We really have no authority to make them do this sidewalk. We have no authority to make them do the sidewalk.
Well, that's where I respectfully, Mr. Chairman, disagree. I think we do.
Okay. Well, I guess I'll ask the town attorney because I don't think it's a requirement. We asked to look into it. So now after looking into it, I thought it was very helpful to have the town manager down there, frankly, commissioners, because he brought in some new ideas that I didn't think about, and he brought some things up. And after listening to all his concerns, I happen to agree with him. And so if we're going to have this on the agenda next meeting, I'll have Craig, if you could have the town manager give us a small, short report on his reasonings for not having the sidewalks, please.
Certainly.
Thank you.
Again, Mr. Chairman, I think he worked out a pretty good compromise. So I mean, we can hear it out and discuss whether we have authority or not to say we want sidewalks or not. But I like the solution that you've come up with.
Thank you, Commissioner Woods. Any other comments from commissioners? Okay.
Commissioner,
Yes, Commissioner Gill.
I've got some questions and I don't know where it falls into. It's not about this particular parcel.
Go ahead, Commissioner.
Okay, as far as addresses on signage, would it be, how would we change our requirements so that we require addresses on signage?
On that last application that we did, I think they said there was no problem. Craig, if you could remind them to add the 395 to the bottom of the sign, I'd appreciate it. And then Commissioner Gill, I think what we have to do is we have to be try to catch these things, and we can make it a condition when we approve certain things that we want to see the numbers on the building, and we could request a certain size if we wanted to.
Yeah, as far as the size, we would just use the rules that we have now. To me, would be fine.
Okay. Okay. I don't think that applicant had any problems putting the number on the sign, and I think most applicants don't have a problem. We'll just have to stay on top of it, I guess.
Okay. We had talked about permits going online. Where is that at? Did we just talk about that a little bit, or are we going to look at that?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I can speak to that. The town of Newington, like a lot of towns, uses an off-the-shelf permit application, and it's quite robust. It's mainly for the building department, and I'm not familiar with it myself. Andrew is, because he uses it all the time. I'm not, but I know that it has modules, and the town can purchase them or not. I know that the town has purchased the module that makes it possible for the building permits to be available online. We have not bought the module that makes the zoning permits available online, but I can look into it to see how much it would cost and see if the town would be willing to do that.
Thank you, Craig.
Yeah, because I had heard some, as far as permits and having problems with getting them done. I think a lot of it has to do with the town hall not being open. And this possibly would be a help, for the applicant process. Okay. Another quick one is, I hope, trees that are required in a division or that we require trees be installed along the roadway. Is there a way of not putting trees underneath the utilities?
Yeah, I think we try to catch those, but there has been stuff that has been smaller and grown into utilities. It's an excellent point. I think that our staff should try to catch these things, and we got to catch these things on the site plans when they come to us. Excellent point, though.
Mr. Chairman, I can work with the planner too and give him some varieties of trees that will do the purpose and will not grow up and into wires.
Well, that would be excellent, Commissioner Woods. I appreciate that. I think the commission would appreciate that, and I'm sure Craig would too. So, anything else, Commissioner Gill?
Yeah, just one. The 690 Willard Avenue. No, I'm not Willard.
Cedar?
Cedar. That new apartments going in there. I just want to put a note out there as we go forward that possibly we might want to put in their ear of getting a good path for pedestrian traffic to the college, and what not necessarily pedestrian crosswalks, but possibly a bridge over Fen Road, so that it's a safe alley.
There's a crosswalk at the road going down towards the busway. I believe there's a crosswalk there. I don't see how.
Yeah, I know we can't require it.
Yeah.
Commissioner Dale,
Yes.
your point might be moot because I know that the developer does not intend to have a lot of students there. I know I said studios and 1 bedrooms, but his expectation is that these will be working people, young professionals, not a lot of students. That's his expectation.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. On the students. As a matter of fact, I think the property across the street was going to be geared more towards the students' housing. Is that correct, Craig?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Payne.
Yes, Commissioner Sobieski, go right ahead.
In response to Commissioner Gill, I believe there's a bus that leaves the fast track station, goes up to the college every 15 or 20 minutes and loops the college.
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Any other commissioners have anything else?
Mr. Chairman, Fox?
Yes, Commissioner Fox.
Just real quick regarding Commissioner Gill's question statements about addresses on buildings. I think Tom, I don't know, I think it was in the 80s when we were driving around in the trucks looking for an address, that I think we adopted an ordinance or at least a regulation that all buildings have markings showing the address in minimum 4-inch letters. So Commissioner Gill's request for the address on the monument sign is good, and I think I don't know how many people are aware of it, but maybe other people should be, as Tom said. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Fox. Any other commissioner comments? Commissioner Sobieski, do you want to talk about the problem down at Payne Road, or?
No, we have that resolved, I believe, Commissioner Payne.
Okay. Because I can brief everybody if you'd like.
That's fine, if you wish to do so.
Just to keep for transparency, and Craig, there was a complaint that came in for Komatsu over on Payne Road for loading trucks at night. Commissioner Sobieski brought it to my attention. The Komatsu property on Payne Road abuts some residential area there. And what happened is it used to be East PBE, and then Komatsu bought the company out. And now the property on Payne Road is acting as a hub for Komatsu, and their operation requires them to deliver parts and stuff and equipment to other locations. And so they happen to come in there at 3, maybe 4 o'clock in the morning, and they were loading and they were disturbing the residents right there. So after hearing the problem from Commissioner Sobieski, I went over to the former East PPE building, and I talked to the manager, Kevin, and he explained the problem to me. And he is going to move the whole operation over to the other side of the building, the far side of the building, so that it's another 300-400 feet away from the residents. And and you'll have the building as a sound barrier too. And the truck would move over to that side, the farthest away from the residents. And he said that he would move everybody over there and do the operation from that side. I think that'll correct the majority of the problem. And I notified the resident of what was happening, and I told the resident that if he has any future problems to let me know. The manager at East PBE or Komatsu also said that they're going to evaluate to see if they could change the timing schedule of the trucks, if possible, so that instead of 3 in the morning, they change the route and it's just at 6:30, 7 o'clock in the morning instead. But he's not sure if he can do that because of the operation. So I asked him to look into it, but until then, please have everything done on the opposite side of the building to try to mitigate any noise to the residents. And that's what I told Commissioner Sobieski, and I also told the resident who put the complaint in. So that's where we stand on that. And if you have any questions, I'd be happy to try to answer them. Okay, hearing nothing else, if there's no other, if there's nothing else, I want to thank everybody for a great TPZ meeting. I think we've been moving along real well. As development comes in, we look at it and we make sure that it's correct, and then we move it forward in a speedy fashion for the developers. And I appreciate everybody's input on lately on everything. We've been really working well together, and I want to thank everybody. So I'll ask for a motion to adjourn now.
Commissioner
So
Sobieski,
moved.
make a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn by Commissioner Fox and seconded by Commissioner Sobieski. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you,
Good night,
everybody.
everyone.
We're adjourned. Thank you very much, everybody, and have a great night.
Thank you. Good night.
Thank you, James.
Thank you all. Good
You're
night.
welcome. Have a
Good
good
night.
night.